Ken.
Afternoon, Neil.
Hi. So tell us what exactly has happened, because you sold the football club to GFH last year. You expected to be, as part of that deal, I think you were going to be the president of Leeds United for 3 years, and then all of a sudden you've been told, and in a hand-delivered letter, you're no longer the president of the football club. What exactly has happened?
Yeah, excuse me. The deal was that when I sold the club to GFH, I stayed as chairman to the 30th of June, and then became president for 3 years until 30th of June 2016. Now, part of the contract, which is supposed to be confidential, but since GFH have revealed some of the details, I suppose it gives me freedom to do likewise, was that they would pay my expenses in the same manner in which I've been paying my expenses for the last 8 years. I don't take a salary, never have done. Basically, so I had a chance, excuse me, got a frog in my throat, had a chance of renewing that travel expense contract.
Yep.
At a price which is cheaper than existing, and at the same time, more importantly, was in sterling, and which protects Leeds against currency fluctuations, because all gas is bought in dollars, and most of the handling charges are in EC.
Yeah. So
I checked very interestingly with the solicitor who wrote me the letter when I met him socially. And he confirmed that a director had the authority to commit a club or a company of which he was a director. So I did it. He left the details at the office, thought no more about it. Now, that was on the 27th of June.
Yep.
Now, I didn't come on holiday until the 15th of July. And on the 24th of July, I had a hand-delivered letter telling me that I had broken the contract or the agreement, blah, 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 asking me for my comments. So I immediately rang the lawyer concerned, and his office was closed. I left a message in his answer phone, which I said, "It's a perfectly clear explanation for this. Let's have a board meeting when I get back, and we'll sort it out around the table."
Okay.
That was on the 26th. On the 28th, I got another letter telling me that they were terminating the contract, terminating my agreement.
And did they tell you why?
In all that time, well, they referred to this charter contract, but in all that time, not one person had rung me.
Okay.
Not one person from GFH to discuss the matter. In fact, I've spoken to one of their directors on a very regular basis. He hadn't even mentioned it, which I think you would probably agree is most unusual conduct. So there's nothing I can do about it until I get back, which I'll be back next Tuesday, and then we'll have to see what happens. But the real problem is, I suspect, because they haven't been doing very well recently, as far as one of the club's concerned, this is just a diversion tactic to try and take the real problems off the headlines.
When you say that the club hasn't been run very well recently, Ken, what exactly do you mean? Because on the pitch, they haven't been playing. It's been the summer. They have a new manager, Brian McDermott.
That is the tip of the iceberg. The footballing side on the matches is the tip of the iceberg. You do more work, actually work harder in the summer than you do in the playing season. Doing Lippens, who reinvigorated the academy and has been responsible for many players coming into both Chelsea and Leeds over his career. And then that's a long before they were even thought of.
Do you know what?
They're just trying to save money, and what they're doing is that they're destroying the heart of the club.
When you say 4 charges, Ken, it makes it sound serious. Of course, it's always a serious matter when it's an employment issue. But do you know what those 4 charges are?
Well, it's not for me to comment on those. It's sufficient to say, because that will no doubt be in another court case. Yeah. So it's wrong for me to comment on it.
Okay.
But the real problem is communication. They said that this contract I signed should be approved by a board. We've only had one board meeting since the 21st of December.
But you're saying
and
that...
on one occasion, I contacted a man called Isham, who was the Chief Executive Officer at GFH. I said, look, we have serious problems here, and I detailed them, and I texted him. I immediately got a message, and I said, these are very serious issues. We must discuss them urgently. I rang him 5 times over 3 days.
Yeah.
And I sent that in February, I think it was. We're still waiting for that conversation.
So do you feel that an excuse has been created to force you out of the football club, Ken?
Yes, I think it has. Definitely, there's no validity in this. The thing is that they're quoting breach of confidentiality, but in The Guardian today, The Guardian have revealed that the source of all the confidential information they've been receiving came from GFH.
Yeah, but that's David Conn's
when we signed the purchase agreement, when we did the completion agreement, it had optionally, I've got a fully chronicled dossier of those, which of course will be produced at the appropriate time.
Yeah, so it's going to, as far as you're concerned, there's going to be legal action based on everything that's happened over the last few days, Ken. That's what it amounts to, doesn't it?
I think that it certainly made my holiday more interesting. Otherwise, I had to sit and look at the swimming pool.
Yeah.
And read books.
Yeah.
But there's a degree of viciousness in it, quite clearly, because I said they didn't approach me at all for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
didn't talk when I was in Leeds or Monaco. They deliberately waited a fortnight after I'd gone on holiday.
Yeah. Okay, Ken, tell us.
So that either somebody's got a screw loose somewhere.
Okay, well, I'm sure this will all unravel, and of course, it's only just happened. So of course, it's going to be pretty raw, I would think, because you're expecting to see out the full term. What have you in terms of a legacy at Leeds United? Because you've had issues with supporters over your period as the Leeds United owner and chairman, Ken.
I had an issue with a few noisy, vociferous ones, which of course the use of social media is far more valuable than it used to be. But look at the fires and fires I've got from the vast majority of the supporters means I didn't need a bad legacy. When I took over the club, 24 hours from liquidation, he couldn't pay the wages, owed the taxman a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
And that was, to be fair, that wasn't the fault of the people I bought it from. He also had tough action quickly enough. The stadium was a crumbling ruin. Spent over £20 million on that over the last 8 years.
Yeah.
It's now ready for the Premiership. It's got a first-class capacity, good and importantly, facilities for the fans. When I first took over Leeds, if an ordinary fan went to buy a shirt or a ticket, he couldn't even find a cup of tea. They've now got their own pub. We built the convention hall, which is also the members' club's headquarters. Awful lot of work's been done on the ground, make sure it's structurally right. The academy, which has always been famous at Leeds, has been restructured and built thanks to Gwyn Williams and Neil Redfern. Done a marvellous job between them. And there's not a lot wrong with the place. All it needed was some more money coming in. And when GFH came along, they knew exactly what they were taking on. They took 7 months to do their due diligence. 7 months. That's longer than the first Iraqi war.
Yeah, right.
And the other thing is, what's more importantly, Neil, so let's get this in, because there was a clause in saying that, which wasn't unreasonable, they didn't want to make sure we didn't make any rash decisions while they were doing their due diligence, because otherwise, the conditions might have deteriorated. All major decisions were approved by a man called Salim Patel.
Yep.
From June onwards, every player we bought, he ticked the box. Every player we sold, he ticked the box. Every major decision we made was his.
Yeah.
They knew exactly what they were getting into. The trouble is, GFH, a bank, and they claim to have loads of money. When the chips are down, one asks, have they?
Pensioning
That
David.
was due to pay back in June, and there's still quite a bit outstanding.
Yeah, that's mentioned in David Conn's piece in the Observer this morning. I just want to go back, if I can. I just want to ask you a couple more questions, Ken. And one is about the here and now. Really, is supporters will I guess will struggle to understand that the president of a football club should sign a contract for a private jet company to fly him from Monaco to Leeds for matches. How do you justify that kind of sum?
If you look at the contract, which they drew up, I only signed. But in the contract, I've been doing that mode of transport for the last 8 years, and they included it in the contract. So there's nothing new there. I don't have to justify it. Said it in the contract,
okay,
which they signed. But more importantly, I'll be quite frank here. I mean, chairmen come and go, presidents come and go. All the fans really care about is what happens on the pitch.
Yeah, and they want a winning Leeds United.
They want a winning, and it's up to GFH to put their hands in their pocket. They claim to have hundreds of millions of pounds. Well, put some over and spend it.
Yeah.
They haven't done very much so far.
Okay, we'll see whether they actually do put their hands in their pockets and spend some money over the course of the next few months with Brian McDermott. But thanks very much for joining us, Ken. I'm sure your career in football isn't over. I'm sure you'll be at another.
One last thing is, I'm probably the only director in the football league.
Maybe. Okay.
Out of Chelsea or Leeds.
Great stuff. Thanks very much for joining us this afternoon, Ken. I really appreciate your time. That was Ken Bates, the former Leeds United president, who was told in a hand-delivered letter this week by the owners of Leeds United, GFH, that he was no longer the club president. He expected to be the club president for the next 3 years. Okay, coming up on the Transfer Tavern, we're going to be talking to the former Norwich and Leicester City winger, Darren